You know, it's not often we get to hear Dan Houser speak. This isn't just some developer, this is the man who literally shaped our childhoods. GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, GTA 4, GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2. Those weren't just games, those were eras in our lives, moments we grew up with, characters who felt more real than people in our own neighborhoods. Dan Houser's writing, his storytelling, his vision, they created entire worlds we disappeared into for years. And after years of silence, years of mystery, years of fans wondering what he thinks about GTA 6, he finally sat down for an interview. And what he said, it was honest, vulnerable, emotional. He talked about the pressure, the fear, the doubt, and the unbelievable weight of creating games that define generations. So today, let's break down everything Dan Houser just revealed and what it really means for GTA 6, for Rockstar, and for the future of storytelling in video games. The pressure behind greatness. The interview opened with a question we've all wondered. What does it feel like to create GTA? Under pressure. And Dan didn't dodge the truth. He didn't act cool. He didn't act invincible. He said something so human, so raw, that it instantly set the tone for the entire conversation. Every time I start a project, I feel like a fraud who hasn't been found out yet. Just think about that. The man who wrote some of the greatest video game stories ever made felt like a fraud. This wasn't just pressure, this was the kind of pressure that crushes people. GTA isn't just a game, it's a global event. Hundreds of millions of players watching your every move, billions of dollars on the line, the entire gaming industry waiting to judge you. And yet, Dan kept going. Why? Because he learned to compartmentalize, to put all the noise, the hype, the expectations into a box, and instead focus on one thing, creating something honest. He said the words that defined Rockstar's entire era. If we made something great and it didn't sell, that would have to be okay. He didn't chase money, he chased meaning, he chased impact, he chased art. He said video games are a commercial art form. Yes, they cost millions. Yes, investors want profits. But the only way to win, the only way, is to make something legendary. And that philosophy, that's exactly why Rockstar became Rockstar. The weight, the fear, the dark side of creativity. Then the conversation turned darker, deeper. Because Dan didn't just talk about success, he talked about the moments where everything almost fell apart. He revealed that during GTA 4's development, Rockstar almost imploded. The fallout from the hot coffee scandal had the company under insane pressure. Legal issues, public backlash, financial risk. Imagine trying to write one of the greatest stories in gaming history while your company is on fire behind the scenes. And then came Red Dead Redemption 2. Dan admitted something players never knew. They were behind schedule. They were over budget by a terrifying amount. The game wasn't coming together. People doubted them. And at the center of all that chaos, Dan said, "You're making a game about a cowboy dying of TB, and the game's not coming together." And you can feel it in his voice. He wasn't just writing Arthur Morgan's pain. He was living his own. Red Dead 2 wasn't built in comfort. It was built in pressure, fear, and emotional exhaustion. And that's why it feels so real. Because behind the scenes, everything was falling apart. And Dan poured that chaos into the writing. Why every GTA feels different. Then the interviewer asked a simple but powerful question. Why is every single GTA different? Why does hype always return? And Dan's answer explained everything we've always felt. He said Rockstar never repeated themselves. They never made GTA, but again, they reinvented the tone, the style, the mechanics, the story, every generation. You always know it's GTA, but the way it's told changes completely each time. That's why the fan base fights over which GTA is the best. They're totally different experiences. GTA 3 was chaotic freedom. Vice City was neon 80s attitude. San Andreas was ambition and culture. GTA 4 was emotional, grounded, cinematic. GTA 5 was satire, money, chaos, spectacle. And GTA 6, Dan implies it will follow the same rule, innovate or die. He also revealed how Rockstar approached hype. They didn't make trailers, they made cinema. They wanted you to feel inside the game before you even touched it. That's why every GTA trailer feels like a cultural event. Because it's not marketing, it's storytelling. Returning to Vice City, why it matters. Then, the moment we've all been waiting for. Vice City, GTA 6's return. Why does it matter so much? Dan smiled when he talked about the original Vice City. He said their inspirations were simple but iconic. Scarface Miami Vice and their own 80s childhood memories. But he also made a huge point most fans don't realize. When they made Vice City in 2002, the 80s were only 16 years in the past. Today, Vice City is now 22 years old. Time has flipped, nostalgia has aged, Miami has evolved into a different kind of chaos. Then he described modern Miami. And the moment he said it, you could picture GTA 6's world instantly. A glossy surface with a dark underworld, influencers, crypto bros yachts, plastic surgery, drugs, super rich people. and the desperately poor. That is exactly the kind of city GTA thrives in. High glamour, high corruption, a paradise built on contradictions. It's not just beautiful, it's explosive. Why GTA can never leave America? Then came a big question. Why not set GTA somewhere else? London, Tokyo, Paris? And Dan gave the most honest answer ever. They tried London once. But GTA is fundamentally American. Not because America is perfect, but because America is exaggerated, chaotic, contradictory, and full of the kind of characters GTA needs. It's so much about America. Guns, larger than life personalities, the culture. It wouldn't work the same anywhere else. GTA is a mirror, a satire, a reflection of American excess. Take it out of America, and it loses its identity. Saying goodbye to GTA, the heartbreak. And then the interview hit its emotional peak. Dan was asked, what does it feel like to watch GTA 6 being made without you? His answer, you could hear the pain behind it. He spent 20 years building that world, 20 years writing characters we still talk about today. He led the writing on every single major GTA we grew up with, and now he had to let it go. Of course it's sad, but I'm also excited for what I'm working on now. He compared it to finishing Red Dead 2. He said writing Arthur Morgan's final moments felt like saying goodbye to a friend, because he lived with that character for nearly a decade. Every day, every emotion, every tiny detail. And when the game shipped, he had to let Arthur go. He had to let every character go. He said, you kind of have to let it go, or you can't move on to the next one. For us, finishing a Rockstar game feels like losing a friend. For Dan, it was losing entire families of characters he created from scratch. That's the emotional cost of greatness. The legacy of Dan Houser. Near the end of the interview, the host said something beautiful. Finishing a Rockstar game feels like closing a chapter of your life, like saying goodbye to a friend. And Dan smiled, because that was the dream they always chased. Rockstar didn't just want you to beat a mission, they wanted you to feel something. They wanted the ending to hit like a book, not just a game, to leave you staring at the screen, thinking about the world, about your own life, about what the story meant to you. That's what Rockstar achieved, and that's what Dan Houser brought to this industry. Even though he's gone, his DNA is everywhere in GTA 6. The ambition, the integrity, the emotional depth, the pressure to make something unforgettable, all of it comes from the blueprint he created. So, yeah, GTA 6 is a new chapter, but the soul of Dan Houser, it's still in every line of code, every character, every sunset over Vice City. He built the foundation, and the gaming world will feel his impact for decades. If you made it this far, respect. Now tell me in the comments, what's the Rockstar moment you'll never forget? Arthur's last ride? Nico's final choice, Michael's betrayal, Trevor's chaos, CJ's entire journey? Because no matter which one you pick, all of them came from the mind of the man we just talked about. Dan Houser didn't write games, he wrote eras, he wrote memories, he wrote us. And this interview just reminded us why.